One thing I have noticed when working with AI is that it's always trying to be helpful. And a lot of time, that means it is trying to agree with me. It gives me an answer that feels right, that sounds reasonable, that are easy to accept. And that sounds like a good thing. But it also means I stop thinking earlier than I should. So instead of accepting the answer, I started to do something different. So, for example, I was working on something comparing working from home versus working in an office. I already had opinions about both things I like, things I dislike. But I didn't just want to write from my perspective. I wanted to see what argument I was missing. So let's move over to my computer and I will show you how this might look. Here we are in ChatGPT. And you see my question was pick one, working from home or working in an office. Choose one and argue why this is clearly better. I'm going to pick working from home and the hedge about it. The first argument is that time is the real currency, and it talks about commuting. It also points out that productivity is usually higher and quality of life improves in ways people underestimate. This answer is clear, it's structured, and easy to agree with. And I could have used part of this for my work, but instead I pushed back. So then I wrote, I disagree. And then I went into my arguments for each of the points that AI had given me. Here, I am not trying to argue with AI. I'm trying to see what happens when I don't agree. And AI goes to saying, you are making a strong case. And one great argument here is most of your points aren't arguments for the office being better. They are arguments that working from home requires discipline and setup. And as you can see, something changes here. It's not just giving me an answer, it argues. For example, I said that chores that eat the saved community time. It answers, they can, but that's a boundary problem, not an inherent flaw. It is responding and it is pushing back on my argument. And it continues doing so. And it also gave me some positive here and still defend its position. So I continue to ask, be more critical. Where is my argument actually weak? And this is an important move. This is not just disagreeing. It's asking AI to challenge my argument back to me. So we start here with the chores, which it claims is my biggest weak spot. You're describing a behavior problem as if it is a structural limitation. Nothing about working from home forces you to do chores during work hours. Okay, I can see that. That was a weak argument from me, maybe. And about home interruptions, it says, you are comparing worst case home scenario to the ideal office. And that's fair. And when it comes to cost of commuting and time, it says commuting time is a guaranteed loss. Chores are optional and controllable. you're equating a fixed cost with a variable one. That is not a fair comparison. And this is a really good argument against what I said. But let's push this a little further. And I finished by saying, now rebuild my argument in a stronger way. So I want AI to take the argument I gave it up at the very beginning and rewrite them in a much better way. So here is a stronger version of my argument. Working in an office is better because it provides enforced structure, clearer role visibility, and higher quality collaboration advantages that are systemic, not dependent on individual discipline. And this sums up all the argument AI gave me against my initial position. And then it goes into detail about each point. The goal here wasn't to prove AI wrong. It is to stop AI to agreeing with me too early. Because the moment it agrees, the thinking on my behalf stops. When you introduce friction, the answers get better. And my questions get better too. And in this specific case, I didn't just get a good answer. I now have strong arguments for working from home and strong arguments for working from the office. Which means when I go back to my writing, I am not just repeating one perspective. I'm actually comparing them. I hope this video maybe inspires you to start questioning AI's answer more often. I know it has changed my way of working with AI. I also hope to see you back here for my next video, where I show another method I use to enhance my own thinking when it comes to use of AI. Bye.